Welcome everyone. My name is Niki Lopez of Niki Lopez Creative, and you're watching The Circle, where every Tuesday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm talking to a creative, social entrepreneur, activist, people doing great things in the world today. And today I have a very special guest and friend. We have here Shanti Lashae. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So if you're watching live, I see we have a couple people live on YouTube. We have Joji and Sierra. Thank you for joining us. We are live on Facebook under Niki Lopez Creative, as well as simulcasting on Outclick Magazine. We're also on YouTube and Periscope. So Sierra said, Shay. Natalie,
hi, Sierra.
Natalie, hi, guys. So we're just going to jump in. So very interesting. So Shay is a Christian musician and artist, a student therapist at Sunserve, as well as a mental health moments facilitator at the UM-NSU-CARD. So we got a lot to go into tonight. We have G saying, hey, Niki and Shanti. Yes.
Hey,
so jumping right into it, I'm assuming the music and you as a musician and singer came first. Is that correct, or?
Well, kind of, sort of.
Okay. What was your introduction to being a musician?
Growing up, my parents always had a strong foundation in music, and so we were just instilled with just different types of music, various genres and artists from different backgrounds. And I think that diversity kind of gave me an ear to be able to hear certain things. Like some people say that like there's things between the lines of notes and words. And so being able to hear that and determine, well, how do I translate what I'm feeling in my music to what people can hear from that? Mm-hmm. How do they receive it?
Mm-hmm. Wow. How long have you been doing music?
I've been doing music since I was a little girl, but I started off as a drummer. And so that's my primary instrument. And I started doing that because growing up in church, people told me I shouldn't be a drummer. I couldn't drum because I was a woman or a girl at that time.
Wow.
And that just gave me way more motivation to actually do it.
It's really interesting that you said that the past couple of interviews, I've had a mix of either someone saying a teacher said, yes, you can do it. And they felt, affirmed and encouraged to do something. And then there were people in their lives that said, you can't do this thing. So it was an act of rebellion that they went and did these things.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess in a way of speaking, I have a rebellious nature. Which is funny because I'm a rule follower generally. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to certain things such as values and kind of how people perceive morality and what's right and what's wrong, I'm a bit rebellious in that nature.
Awesome. And what type of music do you do?
So I do Christian music predominantly, especially as a solo artist. Mm-hmm. And it's really like a fusion. Like I can't say that there's any particular artist or song that represents what I put together. Mm-hmm. Because it's really just a meld and a melting pot of so many different styles. Mm. And so it's really Christian fusion, I guess you could call.
Interesting. And do you write your own music as well?
Yes, I write my own lyrics. I write the melody. And even for the EP that I did, I played most of the instruments on. So I just kind of worked with the producer to stack them on top of each other. Mm-hmm. And played one instrument at a time.
Awesome. And how about guitar? Where did that come into play?
So a few years ago, my brother was in a really, really bad car accident, partially ejected from the front windshield. And where we all grew up with music, and he was in a coma for 3 months after. we were really in a place where we wanted to help him have motivation to recover and possibly even just wake up from the coma. And I couldn't bring a drum into the hospital room or the ICU, but I could bring my guitar. And
Wow.
so that helped me to connect to him. And I hope that it reached him to some level, because today he's doing a lot better than he was for someone who went through what he went through.
Well, sorry to hear that happened. I'm glad he recovered.
Thank you.
But there's also, I don't know how much you read into this, but there's a lot of people and a lot of science and studies are gearing towards how art, which music is an art form, is a healing tool.
Absolutely. And in many realms. And
Mm-hmm.
as a student therapist, and as working at the agency that I work for now, the organization rather, I see that day in and day out, where music is incorporated, arts are incorporated into being able to develop skill acquisition and
Mm-hmm.
just different levels of learning.
Absolutely. And we have a couple people. We have Sherry Shabazz, we have Cynthia Hayes, Sylvia saying hello, and Tabitha and Megan. So I did, ask for you to share something. So we do have Cynthia say, where can we hear something tonight? So I don't know if you're comfortable and ready, but can you share something with us?
Well, I'm certainly willing to try. I had an event back in February, and that was the last time I performed anything from the EP because of COVID. So this is a unique opportunity, and I appreciate the platform.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you. All right, so I'll go ahead and share this piece called Thunder, and it's going to be acoustic, so it sounds a little bit different than it does on the actual track, but I hope you enjoy it anyways. I hear it in the thunder. I am in the midst of your greatness. Even in the whisper, quiet my soul, I won't let go. Your love is all I need, and all I breathe. Are you listening? Are you listening? Your love is all I need, and all I see. Are you with me? Are you with me? I see it in the majesty of the high and risen King. When you open my eyes up, your love was pure and white. Your Are you with me? Are you with me? Your love is all I need, and all I breathe. Are you listening? Are you listening? Your love, 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 love. Your love, 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 love. Your love, 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 love. Your love, 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 love. Your love is all I need.
Wow, wow, thank you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. We have Gracia saying, greetings, beautiful, talented sisters. Natalie, beautiful. Rebecca, I love it. Sing it, Shay.
Aw, thanks, Auntie.
Andrew, great voice.
Thank you.
Wow. That's it. And it was just so melodic. It's just like I could just sit there and rest and just listen to that.
That's the point. And honestly, when I put together this project and I started actually producing, well, I didn't produce the album, but when I started working on recording the album along with Sean Thomas, my producer, I really had I really wanted people to understand that the music was not just for Christians or not just for a specific population of people.
Mm-hmm.
As it is, I'm LGBT and Christian, which is like in many people's eyes a contradiction.
Mm.
And so I needed and wanted for people to see that it's about inclusivity. It's about love, and so it's inclusive to everyone.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. We talked a little bit about before the live about these intersections and these spaces. We need our exclusive spaces, and we also need that in place space that are inclusive, so we're able to relate to one another and grow and learn. And you know, that is a thing where you have people that are within the LGBT space, but they are connected to religion, and you know, there's a challenge a lot that comes out of that.
A huge challenge. I mean, even personally, when I did the EP album release in October, I was very forthcoming with the audience that attended and let them know that, it wasn't that long ago that I was literally reconciling, being LGBT and being Christian and learning how to live with that and also use my voice to say it's okay, just be who you are.
Mm, absolutely. And let me take a couple of comments here. We have Tabitha saying, wow, you've grown so much.
Thanks, Tab.
This, yeah, such a powerful voice and inspiring music.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey from Buffalo, New York.
Hey there, Buffalo.
Yeah. And then there's another, LaDonna, beautiful.
Thank you.
And Justina, you're a beast on that guitar.
Jess, come on.
Rebecca's, saying amen to what you're saying. So, it's nice to know that people resonate with that. So that's a beautiful thing. So,
yes, it is.
Yes. And you were doing regular shows where you're gathering other musicians. Can you tell? I know, like right now, COVID had stopped a lot of these. Can you share a little bit about what you had going on?
Absolutely. So back in February, we launched an event. So I have some amazing and wonderful friends that are supportive and willing to lend a hand to artistry and projects. And usually if I say, hey, can you help with this? They're like, anything. And, I can give them a task and they're like, okay, I'll get it done. And I'm really grateful for that kind of support because it allows me to be able to share what I'm doing all the more because I don't have to worry about the ins and outs.
Mhm.
But the event that we put on was Vibing with Shanti, and we put it on in collaboration with a vinyl record shop called Vinny Locals,
Mm.
and it's a local LGBT shop that's in Wilton Manors, and they literally allowed us to use the space for free. And I was so grateful for that because he just believed in what we were doing and what we were trying to put together. So we had artists, we had vendors, and different types of artists, literal artists that paint. We had artists that do photography and poetry. So it
Mhm.
was a wide ranging guest list and people that actually performed. And we
Mhm.
had a couple of open mic slots. And that just allowed for a community to come together. And it actually drizzled that day, and everyone stayed, and they were just standing in the rain,
Mm.
while the instruments were under a tent, obviously, to protect the artists and everything, because of the electricity.
Mhm.
We were just blown away that the audience stayed and were like, it was getting dark and they were still there and
Yeah.
wanting to be a part of the experience.
And yeah, that's definitely a beautiful thing when you have that support, and getting a venue is like really challenging and costly to do things, and there's a lot that goes on in that. And so that's great that you had someone that believed you, and then that audience to just like affirm that, because they were like, we don't care
Exactly.
about little drizzle, we're here.
That's not going to bother us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, that's beautiful. And we have a couple other comments I saw. Tabitha says, Shanti Lashae Williams, I remember when you were cautious about taking the stage for karaoke, and now you have your own album.
That is so true. That was January 2019,
Wow.
actually. Yeah. So this has been a pretty fast-paced journey.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Hey, we also have Cynthia has a question. How do you pick the songs for your album?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so for this particular project, I actually just did what my gut told me
Mm,
and my intuition and my instincts. So the last song I wrote for this project was actually the first song I recorded. So
mm,
I knew that one had to be in there, but the others came because I just felt like they belonged together. And so actually, as you look at the EP and the different songs that are there, you actually see a story. If you read each song from the first to the last in order, you
mhm.
see a story, and the story is the elements of God.
Awesome. And I'm just gonna put the link in there to your music app
Of
on
course.
Apple
Of course,
Music.
and that's located on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. So it's Elemental by Shanti Lashae.
Awesome. We have Cynthia. I guess she was out there that day. She said it was mesmerizing that day.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that.
And we have Christina, yes, from YouTube. Daniel, hi from
Thanks, Tina.
Buffalo.
Hi.
That's awesome. Awesome. And so I know you do. We spent a lot of time in the music. I love that, but I know you're also up to lots of things as well. So a couple of things that you're a student therapist at Sunserve. What do you do there? Like what drew you to that?
I am fortunate enough to really have known that I've always wanted to be someone helping other people. And I've
Mm,
always been drawn to people who don't have a voice, who don't really know how to use their voice, so to speak, actually, because most people have voices, they just don't really know how to use them or haven't tapped into that place. And just growing up, seeing different things in the community that I was from, it was very difficult seeing people just not get out, and seeing some of the social disparities, social economic disparities that take place that keep people from reaching their full potential. And I wanted to be a person that could help to
mm,
bridge that gap and to decrease some of the disparity that exists between that. as it comes down to the person. So I do mental health counseling, is primarily what I do. And I feel very fulfilled even when things don't look the brightest, because I know that I'm doing what I can to help those that I can.
Absolutely. And especially in times like this, it's really important, the mental health. I mean, mental health is important anyway, but we're going through a lot as a community, as a country, as a planet.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. One of the beauties of what I get to do, excuse me, sorry. One of the beauties of what I get to do is I get to do it also for my daytime job, because I am able to kind of bridge all of those worlds together, the music and, being a student, and also, with UM-NSU-CARD mental health moments. I'm able to bring all those things together. And I think that I'm in a pretty positive position, and very fortunate to be where I am.
That's that's amazing. We have okay, we have Shanna's in the kitchen chopping carrots and wants to know, you're looking fly today.
Thank you, Shanna.
uh, so big up being a platform for youth expression.
Absolutely.
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 And then we have Rebecca. She says, Shay, you have your auntie in tears. I'm so proud of you and for your learning to love you for you. God loves you. Do do much because you're true to yourself. Your voice is mesmerizing. It will heal lots of hearts.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And can you tell us a little bit about, because I know you mentioned it briefly, about the mental health moment?
Yes.
And
So
right.
my daytime job, and most people as artists, you come to find in most cases it's really hard to live on an artist's income, especially when you're independent artist. You're not funded by many different places, and so it can be very difficult to try to make a living off of that. And so a lot of my daytime is spent in my full-time job, which is a partnership between University of Miami and Nova Southeastern University. And we make up an organization, or a department rather, called Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. So a lot of people call it CARD. This organization is made up of so many amazing, diverse people that contribute to the community, and, especially the autism community. But, when all of this stuff happened with COVID, our supervisors and our ED, the executive directors, said, we're going to challenge you. What can you do to help our community in this time?
Mm.
And I said, I know I can share the knowledge that I have with others, and giving little strategies, one strategy per week is what we do. Mental health moments is done every Thursday weekly at 7 p.m. and anyone is welcome to join. So although our organization primarily serves the autism population, we did open up this particular group, and some others like it, to the general public, where everyone can benefit from, because everyone needs a mental health moment. And usually it consists of, like last week we talked about mindfulness, and what mindfulness is and how it can be beneficial to people of all backgrounds. And then we took a journey and we did an exercise called mindful eating, and just little moments like that where people are able to have an experience where they don't have to feel afraid of the vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about for me.
That's beautiful. We have Justina. Shay is definitely a real one with a genuine heart. Helping others to heal is definitely one of her callings.
Thank you, Jess.
That's awesome. Cynthia, do you use your music along with your mental health to go into corporate business? Great question.
Actually, there are some things in the works. And as an independent artist, obviously, I can do whatever I'd like with my music. I have the rights to it all. So that's one of the beautiful things about being an independent artist. You get to call the shots in regards to that. as far as my professional life, I have had the opportunity to create proposals and formulate strategies to have a group for some of our teams to incorporate music as a way to learn just about how music is universal and how it touches everyone. So some of our kids with autism do face challenges with communication. And so seeing themselves as different a lot of times can be very impactful on their self-esteem and their self-worth. But if they see certain things that bring them closer to others, sometimes it can be very welcoming, give them less fear when it comes to those social interactions. But in regards to actually going into a corporate environment, I'm pretty much open to anything in regards to my artistry.
Awesome. Awesome. And we have Christina, such a loving, kind, musical soul.
Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that.
We have Ho Bo Furnier. Chef Howie here. Cares, please wear a mask. If you don't have one, come see me. I'll give you one. All of our lives matter at the pub in Wilton Manors.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, yeah, that it would definitely in a day and time that we have to be more cautious, and things are opening up and shutting down at the same time. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's hard for people to deal with all of the components that are associated with it. And so definitely take care of yourself. And I know that you had mentioned previously, like just balancing, everything. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to not have everything in control. Obviously, if you need to have a plan for something, that's different. You need to have a strategy, but there's no one else that's going to take care of you like you. So self-care is, to me, the best care.
absolutely. Do you have any particular self-care rituals or habits, like that your go-to?
Yeah, so actually, some of my bandmates are on here, and Christina, one of the people that has been commenting, she is the lead singer and the founder, or one of the founders of a band we call Saint. And so we actually performed at the show as well in February, and it's been it's been a pretty great experience having them be a part of everything. And so what we've done is had moments where we will go on GoToMeeting or go on Discord, which is another platform, and we will do something called banditation, where it's actually meditation, but we're all doing it together virtually because there is strength in numbers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. And we have here Cynthia saying, "Yes, we need you in the schools. Your music is soothing."
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
Christina.
definitely reach out.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're on Facebook, I think Facebook and YouTube, you can see them as well. I've been dropping down some links in the comments. So we have her Facebook page, we have Instagram, we have the website, we have the YouTube, and we also have a link if you want to join the mental health moment. So those will be in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, you could go to Facebook or YouTube and you could click and link to Shantae and find out more information and see where she's going to be popping up next. So we have a couple of, Christina, hello, I'm a saint. I'm saint. Extremely helpful mentally. Love you, Shay.
Yes. Love you guys.
And it's a great, I think that's a great like balance between music and mental health, and then what you're doing with the youth. Definitely need more people involved with the youth as much as possible, people who care, people who are passionate, people who are like them. So it's great that you're able to do that and give back to the community in that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Ed from YouTube setting some colorful rainbow hearts.
Oh, I love the colorful rainbow hearts.
Yeah, I see the background. You got the rainbow going on.
Yeah.
Today's the last day of June, so last day of Pride. So
Yeah, I had to go out with a bang.
Absolutely. Allie, this was wonderful. Proud of you, my love. Aw.
Thank you, Allison.
Absolutely. So, what's next for you?
Well, I would love to put on another show, but obviously that's going to be a little different. So look out for me sending flyers and invitations for a virtual show that I'm hoping to put together with a series of artists, poets, and singers, and people that just have something to say. And I don't just mean with words, but it's almost like what I can describe to me. It's like a fire in my gut.
Mm-hmm.
When it needs to come out, it has to come out. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you have something to share, use your voice. Don't be afraid of it. And you're not gonna perfect it until you do it. So,
Absolutely. I literally told someone that's close to me today, they've been kind of hesitant to go online. And now they did a couple of onlines and now they're doing
yeah.
a bunch of online stuff. And I said, that's the little sweet spot that people miss because we want to wait till we're perfect, till we
And
feel
then we want to
comfortable
share it.
and then share. But you learn by doing, So,
Yeah, and people find value in seeing the struggle, and seeing the reality of this is what it took for me to get here and
mm-hmm,
for me to be in this space that I'm sharing parts of myself with you.
mm-hmm. And not even just the struggle, but the journey. Watching
Yeah.
that journey, like Tabitha saying it, you were like, oh, I don't know if I want to do karaoke, and it's like, here's my albums.
I was terrified. I was like, I'm never singing in front of anyone ever, like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely. But people want to see that journey, and the thing is, when you take that deep breath and make that courageous leap to whatever that is, whatever that next step is for you, when you're bold enough to share that, people are inspired, and someone else who might have been too afraid to do something may say, wait a minute, she's doing it. Let me see if I could do it.
absolutely, that's amazing. That's an amazing point.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And going to other people's events, I would say, definitely helped to spark me
Mm-hmm.
because I could feel the energy, and it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of excites the creativity in you in a way where it's like, wow, possibilities.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
And that's what I remember because I've seen you at a few of my events, seeing you here, and then it's just like, oh wow, she's doing her events and doing music, and
Absolutely.
so we have Cynthia saying, please don't forget the senior community, senior group.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And we have Jacqueline, no progress journey without struggle. Thanks for how you bring others together like a community.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jacqueline.
Absolutely. So yeah. So okay. If you had access to a time machine, where would you go? Past or the future, and why?
The future.
Hmm.
Because everything that I do is to facilitate the future that I envision. And I know that it won't all work out exactly how I planned it in my head,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to see the difference in what you thought was possible and then seeing that it's so much bigger than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how everything turns out and all these little initiatives that we not little and big initiatives
Yeah,
that's happening, movements that's happening, to see where it lands us in the future.
absolutely.
Yes. So, so we have some hand clapping going on. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to definitely thank my audience, my live audience. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Periscope, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for joining in the conversation and adding comments and questions tonight. Please, please, please share out this link, tag people in this link. There's some other musicians sitting in their closet waiting to come out on all levels, and you could inspire
Absolutely.
that, you could inspire that next musician. You could inspire that person who just feels like, my biggest goal is just to be myself and be comfortable in the world, you
Yep.
know. how can I help people? There's Sunserve, which is a great resource to the community, a free resource for the community. They help with youth, they help with seniors, they help with, all spectrums of the LGBTQ community, and they provide resources for the community, regardless of whether you're in the LGBTQ community or not. So,
Yep.
absolutely, join us. Shanti, you're quiet to my ears. Thank you for a peaceful evening.
Thank you, Cynthia.
And Grecia, thank you, Nikki, for having such a wonderful, caring, uplifting guest on your program tonight. Looking forward to listening to Shanti Lashae again on a live performance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Grecia, she's a drummer. She's a Femme Africa.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, you definitely
You have some things to teach me.
Yes. Daniel, you have the best girlfriend. I love her to the moon and back.
Oh.
And Natalie, the future holds the expansion of What's Your Elephant and Shanti Lashae. Yes, you guys.
Oh, man. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Natalie.
Absolutely. So Shanti, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Of course.
And it's interesting someone said calm, because it is. It just feels like kind of like I'm in this wave of just niceness, and it's a beautiful evening. Thank you so much for what you do in the community and sharing your gifts with us and with the world.
Thank you for having me, Nikki.
Absolutely. And so everyone watching it on the replay, thank you for listening. Please don't forget to share this. And I will see everyone next week, Tuesday. Good night.
You will. Bye.